On the night of January 19th, 2019, an Uber driver named Albert Castro picked up a passenger from a bar in Citrus Heights, California. This passenger was 32-year-old Chu Vang. He'd been partying at this bar for many hours and was completely intoxicated. However, picking up inebriated passengers from bars was part of Albert's daily routine, so he didn't think much of it. What he didn't know at that time was that picking up Chu would soon put his life in grave danger. Fortunately, he captured the whole incident on his dashcam. Things started off fairly normal, with Chu sitting in the front seat and trying to strike up a conversation with Albert while in his drunken state. But then, out of nowhere, he started freaking out and saying things like, "You're gonna crash." Albert tried to calm things down and reassured him that he was not gonna crash. What Albert didn't realize, however, was that Chu wasn't fearing for his own safety. Instead, he was making a threat. Because just a few seconds later, he did this.
No, dude!
He grabbed the steering wheel and turned it in his direction, sending the car swerving across two different lanes while going 65 miles per hour down the Business 80 highway. It was a miracle they managed to avoid hitting any other cars. Thankfully, Albert was able to react quickly and remove his hands from the steering wheel before putting them in danger. But just when he thought the situation was under control, Chu made another attempt, this time lunging at the steering wheel with his whole body.
Εκεί έπρεπε να σταματήσει κατευθείαν, να τον πετάξει έξω, να φωνάξει αστυνομία. Κατευθείαν αυτό έπρεπε να κάνει. Τι κάνει! Πρέπει να σταματήσει το αυτοκίνητο εκεί πέρα.
It took everything Albert had in him to keep Chu from causing a potentially fatal crash. And while Chu passed out and stopped fighting for a few seconds, it wasn't long before he was trying to reach for the steering wheel again.
Ο άλλος γιατί δεν σταματάει στην άκρη του δρόμου να σταματήσει? Τι οδηγάει? Αυτό δεν μπορώ να καταλάβω.
We're not gonna die, man, but you gotta let go.
No, I love you, brother. I love you, brother.
You gotta let go, man.
I love you, brother.
Fortunately, by this point, they were already stopped, albeit in the middle of the road. But what made this situation even more disturbing was Chu's complete lack of awareness and concern for what he just did. He's even heard saying the words, "We're going to die," like it's nothing. After catching his breath for a short while, Albert finally managed to call the police and explain his situation.
Ma'am, I'm in the middle of the freeway. I have a drunk Uber passenger grabbing my steering wheel.
No.
We're just south of 99 and 50.
Chu was arrested and later charged with DUI for trying to take control of a moving vehicle while under the influence. Now, I wasn't able to find any reports on the conviction he received, as it's a pretty niche case without much of any news coverage. But given the video evidence clearly showing him committing the crime, there's a good chance he was hit with a felony and will never be allowed to drive again. Still, it's disturbing to think about what could have happened if Albert didn't have the reaction time to stop Chu before he managed to crash the car. On February 10, 2022, 38-year-old Uber driver Christina Spacuza picked up a man wearing a ski mask from the small town of Pitcairn, Pennsylvania.
Ξέρετε, μου είχε πει η μαμά μου όταν ήμουν εγώ μικρή, θα ήταν και αυτή μικρή, άνοιξε να μπει, σταμάτησε ένα ταξί και κανονικά όλοι καθόμαστε στην πίσω θέση. Για κάποιο λόγο άνοιξε την μπροστινή θέση να κάτσει. Δεν ξέρει γιατί. Έτσι της βγήκε να ανοίξει την μπροστινή. Και ο ταξιτζής φοράγε μόνο τις κάλτσες του, λέει η μαμά μου. Αυτό. Έκλεισε την πόρτα και έφυγε.
Hi.
Αυτά.
Maya. How are you today?
The weather was quite cold, so she didn't find the mask suspicious. But the complete disregard for her questions, or at the very most, a murmured response, was unusual. Though she continued as usual and began driving to the requested location, not knowing that things would turn bad very quickly. As they were about to reach the destination, the passenger made an odd move and shifted into the middle back seat. To Christina, it seemed like he was just trying to get a better view of the surroundings so he could point off the drop-off location. And sure enough, that's exactly what he did.
Where you read it? Right here, up there.
He told her to stop in a secluded wooded area just before Monroeville, Pennsylvania. But just as she tried to pull over, he did something Christina could have never expected.
Keep driving.
I'm sorry?
Keep driving.
You've got to be joking.
Keep driving.
What are you doing?
This is a gun. Keep driving.
No, it's not. Stop.
I can't show the visuals on YouTube, but the back passenger presses a gun to her head, grabbing her ponytail with his other hand, and instructs her to keep driving. Christina tried to stay calm and reason with the passenger. Unfortunately, he had no intention of showing any mercy.
Come on, man. I got a family. What are you doing?
I got a family too. Now drive.
What are you doing?
Drive.
Please stop.
Drive the car, miss.
Why are you doing this?
Don't make this so noticeable. Just drive.
Why are you doing this?
Drive the car.
A few seconds later, he grabbed her phone so she couldn't call for help. He also noticed and disabled the dash cam that had captured everything to this point. Tragically, this also marked the last time Christina was seen alive. Her family reported her as missing when she failed to return home that night, prompting an immediate search and rescue effort to locate her. And after 2 days of searching, Christina's body was discovered face down in the woods near Monroeville with a bullet wound to the back of her head. After further investigation, authorities also found her car, which was somehow back in Pitcairn. Fortunately, this discovery allowed investigators to recover the dashcam footage, as well as dust from the passenger's fingerprints. Combined with the information from Uber about who booked the ride, these clues led investigators to identify and arrest the suspect 5 days later on February 17th. This turned out to be a 25-year-old man named Calvin Crew. Calvin denied the allegations and refused to talk about his motives. But the records from Christina's phone showed that he tried to access her banking apps multiple times after he'd already shot her in the head. Put simply, this was a robbery gone horribly wrong. He stood in front of a jury in February 2025 and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for this cold-hearted crime. On the 17th of March 2014, 52-year-old John Williams picked up an Uber passenger at around midnight from a sketchy area in Chicago. However, what should have been an ordinary ride like any other turned into something that'll likely stick with him for the rest of his life. It began almost the moment the passenger got into the car, as she made a bizarre statement that left John confused. But before he had the chance to fully process what was going on, things escalated.
Γιατί μας δείχνει το πρόσωπο αυτής?
Diamond.
Yeah. Go, go, go. You finna shoot up the car.
Shoot up the car?
Yeah, go.
What the What is that? What the is that? What the was that?
Ρε.
For what?
Δηλαδή δεν καταλαβαίνεις, πυροβόλησε στο αυτοκίνητο.
Man, this.
Let me call the police, Cuddy.
As soon as John started driving, someone actually opened fire and shot at the car. John stepped on the gas and didn't ease up, running a stop sign and hitting multiple speed bumps. The shooter turned out to be the ex-boyfriend of the girl John had picked up. He was even briefly caught on the dash cam, seen running after John's car as it drove away. Fortunately, the shots missed the vehicle and both John and the passenger were completely unharmed, at least physically. According to the interview he did later, this incident left John completely traumatized, as he'd never experienced anything this terrifying in his over 12,000 Uber rides. After the footage was featured in the news and it started gaining more attention, people came together and raised nearly $800 to help John pay for psychological counseling. On the night of September 15, 2018, an Uber driver was completing a ride in Long Island, New York, when, out of nowhere, he was intercepted by another car driving dangerously close and trying to cut him off.
So I'm going to the right?
No, go through this light. Go through straight.
Straight. Yeah. Okay. Now what do I do?
Να το κλείσω, θα δούμε τρακάρισμα, δεν θα ήθελα.
Okay.
Whoa, what's going on here? Oh my goodness, that was weird.
That was a little weird.
The other driver then pulled ahead of the Uber and blocked the road with his car. He then jumped out, approached the Uber, and started banging on the car's window.
What's that?
You blew the right leg. Get the out of the car right now. Just go around him. Go around him. Oh my god, this is crazy.
Τι τους είπε?
This was an extremely dangerous situation. The other driver was angry and could have potentially had a weapon on him as well. One wrong move, and all three people in the Uber could have easily lost their lives to what looked like either road rage or an attempted robbery. Fortunately, the Uber driver made the right decision and kept his car locked. But when he tried to leave without getting into a fight, the other driver got back into his car and started chasing them.
911, tell them we're being chased. Hi, I'm in an Uber car and we're being chased by another car who was threatening the driver. And we're on Vernon Valley.
And he's pursuing us right now.
He's pursuing us right now. He's chasing us in a car, in a white car.
They were also approaching a red light, which made them panic even more, fearing that stopping would give the other driver a chance to get out and threaten them again.
Coming up to a light. Now we're coming up to a light. I'm scared because
we're gonna have to go through it.
We're gonna have to go through it because this guy is he jumped out of the car. We're in a Tesla.
But then something incredibly lucky happened that none of them saw coming. Not only did the light turn green as soon as they approached it, they also found a cop car that was already patrolling the area.
No, we had the passenger. There's a gentleman who stopped us and tried to have a fight with me, and he started pursuing us.
He jumped out of the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that guy.
That's him. That's him.
That's him.
Don't go anywhere.
That's him.
Stay here.
The cop managed to pull him over, allowing the Uber to drive away safely. And according to the video's description on YouTube, the driver was later arrested for driving while intoxicated. It's still unclear what the driver's intentions were or what would have happened if the police car hadn't been there when it was.
Ναι, δεν είπε τι ήθελε νομίζω. Γιατί ήθελε να τους κατεβάσει. Τέτοια βίντεο βλέπω γενικά. Και μετά γι' αυτό δεν εμπιστεύομαι τους ανθρώπους και τους φοβάμαι όλους. Γιατί δεν ξέρεις ποιος είναι τρελός.
A random man suddenly opened the front passenger door and got into the car.
Έχω δει και πυροβόλησαν άτομο για προσπέρασμα. Α, καλά. Έτσι αυτό η σφαίρα είναι μέσα, δεν καταφέραν να την βγάλουν.
Can I help you?
Άκου εκεί, επειδή προσπέρασα.
Where that money at?
You need to get out.
What? Stop paying me. Where that money at?
I don't have any money.
Stop paying me. Where's that? Right now.
I don't have cash. It's digital world, bro.
Give me your wallet.
I don't have it.
Give me your wallet. Right now.
Το θράσο σου!
He began threatening the driver with a gun, asking for his wallet. Most people in this situation would likely panic and hand over whatever the robber demands, which is the right thing to do in most cases. After all it takes is one wrong move for someone to lose their life while being threatened with a gun. However, not only did the Uber driver that turned out to be ex-military keep his calm, he also did something that no one else should. He called the robber's bluff.
Right now.
Καλύτερα να μείνεις μακριά από τρελούς. Τι κάνουμε, πως είμαστε, βλέπουμε spooky βίντεο.
You gonna shoot me? Get the f*** out of here. You don't want to get shot? Come on, man.
Give me that wallet, bro.
No.
Bro, stop playing before I hit you right here. Give me that wallet, bro.
Ρε, πώς θα φοβήθηκε και δεν του δώσα τα πάντα, δεν καταλαβαίνω.
Got my camera too.
Oh, look at you. Awesome.
Καλώς το παλικάρι μας.
Well, ex-military.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane.
Before things could escalate any further, he stepped on the gas, forcing the robber to quickly step out. His actions may have been a bit reckless, but in the end they turned out to be the right call, as they saved both him and his passenger from losing everything. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any follow-up information available on this case. Hopefully the robber was identified and taken into custody before he attempted to harm any more people. On January 8th, 2005, a man named Martin discovered a mysterious package in his mailbox. Confused, he brought it inside and opened it up. Inside the package was a single item, a videotape with no label or note to explain its contents. Curious to see what was on it, he put it in his camcorder and pressed play, and the footage he found on it was shocking to say the least. It contained a nearly hour-long video of a man describing the violent things he was about to do, how he was going to lure his victims, and the makeshift devices he was going to use.
I'm not trained in torture methods, which is what I'm gonna have to make do. I got my drill here, even though it's got this padding on it, it's just to try to silence it a bit, because I'm in an apartment. I got gags, socks, I got lots of duct tape. I got a soldering iron. Sheets.
Μόλις γύρισα από τη δουλειά, είμαι πτώμα, ούτε διάλειμμα δεν έκανα. Α, καλά, γύρισε την πρώτη μέρα στη δουλειά και ούτε διάλειμμα ούτε τίποτα. Λένε εντάξει, κουράστηκε αυτό, δεν θέλει διάλειμμα.
While the content itself was extremely grim, what disturbed Martin more was the fact that he personally knew the person on screen. This wasn't the manifesto of a serial killer planning to...
Φαντάζεστε, αυτός που βρήκε το βίντεο, τον ήξερα. Φανταστείτε τώρα κάποιον που τον ξέρετε να βρείτε ένα βίντεο από κάποιον γνωστό σας και να λέει τέτοια πράγματα. Ότι θα κάνω αυτό, θα κάνω το άλλο, θα κάνω το άλλο, θα τους βασανίσω έτσι, θα τους βασανίσω αλλιώς. Φανταστείτε το λίγο.
Take innocent lives. Instead, it was the final message of Martin's close friend, Ricky Rodriguez, a man who was tormented by a cult from the moment he was born. He eventually managed to escape the cult and was now planning to take revenge on the people who did unspeakable things to him for all those years. He recorded this hour-long video and mailed it to his few friends and family so they would find it and have all the answers about what he was about to do and
ναι, είναι αληθινά αυτά.
This video,
δεν ξέρω τι κάνανε.
well, for many reasons, I guess. I suppose the main reason is that I want there to be some record of the way I feel, my ideas, just who I was, really.
Ricky's story began 30 years earlier on January 25, 1975, when he was born as the first child of Karen Alva Zerby. Karen was a member of a cult called the Children of God, which used Christian language to lure in young, impressionable minds, often teenagers, and molded them to its sick and perverse ideals. 2 years after Ricky's birth, he was adopted by the cult's leader, David Burke, who presented himself as the Chosen One. David changed the cult's name to The Family and declared Ricky to be a religious herald, granting him a special position in the organization. However, while he was treated like royalty by the other members on the surface, behind closed doors, Ricky was the victim of vile acts no child should ever have to endure. David not only encouraged these acts, but went as far as to write a whole book about everything he and his followers did to Ricky, called The Story of ΒΙΝΤΕΟ. This abuse continued for many years, but as Ricky got older, he became aware of David's lies and manipulation. Then, in 1999, he finally managed to escape the cult with his girlfriend Alicia Manuel by faking a visit to the cult's compound in Mexico and fleeing to the US instead. Reintegration into society after 24 years in an isolated cult was anything but simple, but Ricky somehow managed to pull through and secure a job as an electrician. He also married Alicia and later moved to Tucson, Arizona due to his work. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried to move forward, the nightmare he escaped continued to haunt him. David had passed away in 1994, and the cult was now under the supervision of Karen Zerby, Ricky's mother. And while the cult had managed to escape legal repercussions by mainly operating overseas, Ricky knew that there were still countless children suffering the same fate as him. So, in January of 2005, he decided enough was enough and took matters into his own hands. Which brings us back to the video he recorded and then mailed to a handful of close friends and his wife. In it, Ricky mentioned his ultimate goal, which was to bring down the cult all on his own. Beyond that, a part of this was also about getting revenge for everything that was done to him.
There's this need that I have. This need, it's not a want, it's a need, and I wish it wasn't, but it is. It's a need for revenge. It's a need.
Να σου πω κάτι, δεν μπορούμε καν να φανταστούμε τι του κάνανε εκεί πέρα τόσα χρόνια.
In this video, he also laid out his plan for accomplishing this goal.
Δεν το κάνει με σκοπό να μην τον πιάσουν μετά. Απλά θέλει να το κάνει και δεν τον νοιάζει μετά τι θα πάθει.
He was going to invite her over for dinner at his apartment in Tucson and make her tell everything she knew about the other members' whereabouts by any means necessary. And that's exactly what he did. On January 8th, after mailing copies of his recording, he invited Angela into his home and proceeded with the plan. It's unclear what information he managed to extract from her before taking her life. He then got into his car and drove to Blythe, California. There, he rented a motel and called his wife to tell her about what he had done and what he was going to do next. However, despite the meticulous planning, Ricky ultimately couldn't follow through with the rest of his plan. On the morning of January 9th, authorities found his car in a parking lot just a few miles from the hotel he was staying at. Ricky was found inside the car as well, where he had taken his own life. And while this was tragic news for his loved ones, it was hardly surprising for his wife. You see, Ricky believed that killing the cultists would bring him peace, something he reiterated in his last video.
I can imagine how I would feel, how liberating it would be.
But that's not what happened. During his call with his wife, he confessed that despite his anger and resentment, killing Angela was the hardest thing he had ever done. Taking revenge didn't bring the comfort he was looking for. He couldn't bring himself to take any more lives and decided to end it all that night, leaving his friends and family with this hour-long video to remember him by. As for the family cult, it remains active to this day under the leadership of his mother. This next video shows a man exploring the Paris catacombs, which is a place very well known for causing people to get lost. They are essentially the most complex series of tunnels in the world. Definitely not somewhere you'd want to find yourself exploring without experience. The video shows this man getting lost, going into a full panic of mind as he doesn't know where to go to get out. The man was never found, but his camera later was, with no trace of the guy.
These arrows point in a direction. Occasionally also, he stops to photograph roomfuls of bones, which means that he's very, very deep inside the catacombs.
Ρε, ποιοι είναι αυτοί οι τρελοί, εξηγήστε μου λίγο, που πάνε σε τέτοια μεριμόνι ολομόνεχη.
Other than the point of view shots.
Τώρα...
Human bones. The catacombs for centuries.
Τώρα αυτόν δεν τον βρήκαμε.
So it is possible with these paintings that we may be able to...
Οπότε εδώ κάτι υπάρχει.
After about
Δεν τρώμε και από κάτω λέει family. Έτσι λέγονταν το κανάλι του.
As though something was scaring him. He's frightened. He's frightened. Occasionally he stops, perhaps to try to decide which way to run among all the many different corridors.
Γύρισε να κοιτάξει πίσω, μάλλον τον κυνηγάει κάτι.
And all of a sudden, we hear his breathing get louder and louder. As though something was scaring him. He's frightened. He's frightened. Occasionally he stops, perhaps to try to decide which way to run among all the many different corridors. He's running faster and faster and faster, deeper and deeper into the catacombs.
Ωραία, αυτό δεν μου φαίνεται στημένο, παιδιά. Έριξε την κάμερα και συνέχισε να τρέχει. Έλα μου ντε, γιατί να πας σε κατακόμβες.
The dashcam footage from a truck caught the exact moment an ambush took place. The video clearly shows as multiple people alongside the highway use an improvised roadblock made of tree branches to force drivers to stop. The people responsible were multiple illegal immigrants angered by a recent demolition of a makeshift camp they had set up. As soon as the truck stopped, they would climb the guardrail and throw multiple sticks, rocks, and even lumps of concrete at the driver. Luckily, the driver would make it past the roadblock, though he would claim that in the moment he feared for his life, and unfortunately he would receive multiple wounds from items thrown through the windshield that would ultimately require him to seek medical attention.
Ρε, τι λες! Τι λες!
This footage takes place at 1:30 a.m. on a Sunday, and it features dashcam footage of a car traveling along a quiet stretch of road in the country. As the car approaches an intersection, a hooded man can be seen standing with his head bowed in the middle of the road. As the car gets closer, the man can be seen attempting to walk in front of it, forcing the driver to stop. And that's when the man can be heard screaming as he lunges towards the car, which of course would force the driver to step on the gas and get out of there.
Νταβέλη, hi. Έχει και τα χέρια στις τσέπες αυτός, θα μπορούσε να έχει και όπλα, θα μπορούσε να έχει τα πάντα. Ήθελε να τον πατήσει.
The driver claims that after the encounter, he would frantically try to call and warn his wife who was traveling the same road behind him.
Try not cry! Hi!
It caused his wife to experience the
Τι
exact
έγινε,
same
έρχεται μαζί. Dear, hi, thank you παιδιά για το
whether the man was trying to rob them, take their car.
Καλώς τους, hi. Thank you για το raid, παιδιά. Μισό εσύ, ρε, δεν μπορώ να σκεφτώ. Σκέψεις που δεν μπορώ να Thanks και για τα follow. Thank you. Τι κάνετε, πώς είστε, πώς πήγε τα stream σας, πώς πήγαν τα stream σας. Ήρθατε τυχαία μαζί εδώ ή κάνατε μαζί stream και ήρθατε παρεούλα? Γιατί αν δεν ήρθατε παρεούλα, φοβερός ο χρονισμός, πρέπει να κάνετε παρεούλα. Η γυναίκα του λέει πήγε μετά από τον ίδιο δρόμο. Δεν το άκουσα αυτό. Α, κάνατε μαζί, εντάξει, γιατί θα ήταν τρελός ο χρονισμός. Τι κάνατε, τι παίζετε. Δυστυχώς κάνουν παρέα. Γιατί δυστυχώς? Ευτυχώς. Μας έβγαλε τα σηκώτια, εντάξει, την παλέψαμε. Γιατί παραπονιέσαι, αφού ωραία περνάτε, αφού σας αρέσει κατά βάθος. Γιατί παραπονιέσαι, αφού σας αρέσει. Κάναμε σύσκεψη για το πού θα κάνουμε raid και κερδίσαμε εμείς. Εξαιρετικά. Μπράβο σας. Πήρατε μια πολύ σωστή απόφαση. Εμείς βλέπουμε τρομακτικά βίντεο. Από κάμερες, αυτοκίνητα και τέτοια. Ο κόσμος εκεί έξω είναι τρελός, να ξέρετε. Καθίστε σπίτια σας. Ωραία είναι στα σπίτια. Περνάμε πολύ μακριά από τον κόσμο γενικά. Αυτό θα πω εγώ. Αυτό κάνουμε. Ελάτε να σοκαριστείτε κι εσείς μαζί μας. Overcooked παίζατε! Έλα ρε, τέλειο είναι!
Road. It starts out with nothing out of the ordinary, when just as the car rounds a bend.
Δεν είναι καθημερινό κάνουν τα βίντεο. Η αλήθεια είναι, συνήθως παίζουμε games κι εμείς, μην νομίζετε. Αλλά έτυχε σήμερα.
Place figure wearing a suit with a briefcase and an umbrella comes into frame. And directly after, another identical man can be seen. The men would retreat into the long grass, where suddenly it's clear there are multiple men looking identical to each other. They seem to have been startled by the vehicle, as if they had been caught. When suddenly, further down the road, yet another figure can be seen, this one holding a flare. It's still unclear what happened next, or what the driver truly witnessed that night. Though, many believe the driver had drove right in the middle of a cult, taking part in a ritual of some sort.
Ναι, κόλτα τις βέλτιστες τις θέλουνε. Η Men in Black ήτανε. Ρε, αυτό είναι πολύ creepy. Και τρέχουν και λίγο έτσι. Fully looks! Hi! Πόσα raid, ρε! Εσύ τι θες πόσα raid, ρε! Όλα τα raid. Από εδώ και πέρα θα κάνουμε νόμο. Όποιος θέλει να κάνει raid στο Twitch, έρχεται εδώ πέρα. Τι θες πόσα raid. Ήρθαν τα παιδιά, θα τους κάτι, δεν τους θέλεις. Δεν μπορείς να τον θέλεις τον Fully looks, για πες. Δεν θέλεις να έρχεται εδώ. Για πες, Θάνα. Για πες. Hi, Fully looks. Hello. Thank you για το raid. Thank you. Τι κάνετε, πώς είστε? Τι κάνατε, με τι ασχολιόσασταν, τι παίζατε, πείτε μας τα νέα σας. Για πάμε λίγο τα raid. Εμείς βλέπουμε spooky βίντεο. Μην ρωτάτε πώς φτάσαμε εδώ, βασικά θα σας πω πώς φτάσαμε εδώ. Θέλαμε να παίξουμε card game classic, εντάξει, δεν παίζει. Μην το αγοράσετε στο Steam, εγώ την πάτησα και το αγόρασα πριν μήνες. Λεπτά μου θα τα πάρω πίσω. Δεν παίζει, ξεκάθαρα. Δεν υπάρχει, δεν παίζει. Μετά θέλαμε να παίξουμε Limbo. Το Limbo παίζει, αλλά για κάποιο λόγο δεν το κάνει capture το OBS με τίποτα, ούτε καν τίποτα. Δεν μπορώ να το κάνω με τίποτα capture, ούτε από το Steam, ούτε από το Epic, από πουθενά δεν γίνεται. Τέλος πάντων, και ξενέρωσα λίγο, δεν ήθελα να παίξω μετά. Δεν ήθελα, τσαντίστηκα. Και βλέπουμε τρομακτικά βίντεο που πάντα μου αρέσουν. Όλοι καλοί χωράνε. Παίζαμε ένα παιχνίδι με ρήμες. Rap battle και έτσι. Τι? Ενδιαφέρον να ακούγεται, δεν έχω ξανακούσει ποτέ τίποτα τέτοιο. Εμείς βλέπουμε τρομακτικά βίντεο. Spooky.
In this video, you can see the dashcam footage of a parked vehicle in the middle of an October day in 2014. From the audio, it's clear someone is inside the car, as you can hear the window roll down, followed by the driver saying how creepy something is. And that's when you realize what the driver is talking about, as you can see a man wearing a disturbing-looking mask walk around the vehicle. According to the driver, there were 5 others with the same mask on not visible from the dash cam. Though, even still, it's clear the driver thinks it's a joke, as you can hear her laughing. But that's when the masked men break one of the car's windows and proceed to rob the driver of all her valuables. The whole while, horrifying screams from the driver can be heard.
Consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy. The Internal Revenue Service may not be accepting settlement from consumers and back.
Where'd you get it?
This may result in back
Τους μιλάει. Είσαι τρελή.
thousands of dollars. An open phone line.
Where did you get them? Oh, yeah.
Γιατί του μιλάς? Ο άλλος?
This footage was taken in the middle of the night in a desolate
Θα μάθουμε τι
field
έγινε,
located in
όχι
Saudi
έτσι θα
Arabia.
μας αφήσεις.
Almost right away, you can see as the driver is slowly approaching a white figure that looks to be holding a cane off in the distance. As the footage progresses, the white figure starts limping towards the vehicle, and after a few seconds, the driver can be heard panicking. After a while longer, the figure continues to move towards the driver, and now obviously terrified, the driver can be heard yelling commands at the figure that can basically be translated to back up and get away from my car. Near the end of the video, the figure can be heard making a shrieking noise directed at the driver. The video itself is no doubt disturbing. It's still unclear what the driver had actually caught on video that night.
Τώρα αυτό τι είναι, ας πούμε, τι είναι αυτό, τι είναι, είναι κάποιος άνθρωπος που έχει ντυθεί έτσι, είναι άνθρωπος που έχει ντυθεί ή είναι κανένα πλάσμα. Τι είναι αυτό τώρα στη μέση του πουθενά? Επίσης, γιατί δεν βγάζεις βίντεο, σήκω φύγε. Όξο μωρή. Ρε τι λες? Την πατάς? Την πατάς, τι να κάνεις, δεν έχεις επιλογή. Την πατάς. Τι λες ρε, τι λες ρε, τι είναι αυτό? Πάρα την κατά λάθος, ναι πάρα την λίγο κατά λάθος. Τι είναι αυτό?
This footage comes from a police cruiser's dash cam, and in the footage you can see as 3 officers are attempting to assist the owners of a car that had broken down on the side of the road. Though, as the footage progresses, the officers look behind them as if to react to a noise. And that's when all of them desperately try to get out of the way of a car coming straight towards them at an extremely high speed. The car would barely miss the officers and come to a screeching halt further down the road. The driver of the vehicle was discovered to be intoxicated 26-year-old Cedric Keith Henson Jr. Though the parked vehicles would receive serious damage, luckily no one was hurt.
Μεθυσμένος θα ήτανε. Ωριακά προλάβανε στο τσακ. Εγώ δεν ξέρω αν θα είχα τέτοια αντανακλαστικά.
Back in 2016, a sort of killer clown phase would shake Americans.
Όταν είχε γίνει αυτό, με αυτούς τους ανθρώπους που ντυνόντουσαν σαν κλόουν και βγαίνανε, που υπήρχε μια φάση και βγαίνανε συνέχεια τα βιντεάκια, ήταν ο μεγαλύτερος μου φόβος. Είχα φρικάρει εκείνη την περίοδο. Στην Ελλάδα δεν το έκανε κανείς βέβαια, αλλά εγώ φοβόμουν. Τι είναι αυτό, ό,τι πιο creepy. Ό,τι πιο creepy. Και κυνηγούσαν ανθρώπους στον δρόμο κανονικά με μαχαίρια.
For many, the motive was simply to scare people, though others would actually rob and even kidnap people. And during that time, in 2016, a family would drive home in South Yorkshire late at night when their dashcam would capture a clown step out in front of their vehicle. The clown would proceed to just stand there and wait until after a few seconds, the clown would sprint towards the vehicle. The driver of the vehicle would desperately go in reverse until finally going back and drive, forcing the clown to get out of the way.
Πάτα το. Αυτός είναι δικός μας, πήγε να τον πατήσει, δεν τον ένιωξε. Ο δικός μας είναι, μπράβο. Και ο τρόπος που τρέχει ο κλόουν ήταν λίγο... Λες και είναι γεννημένος κλόουν. Δείτε τον, λες και όντως είναι έτοιμος να κάνει κάτι κακό. Ρε.
This video captured a woman frantically knocking on this house's front door. As she continues to do so, she can be seen constantly looking behind her. And that's when you realize why. A man walks up to the woman and proceeds to grab her firmly, telling her to get into the car. All the while, the woman can be heard pleading for him to stop.
Τι λες ρε, πες μου ότι δεν έπαθε τίποτα.
Stop, please, no. No, 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 please. Stop.
Ρε.
The man in the video was later identified to be 20-year-old Viktor Kucic, and he would ultimately be charged with third-degree felony kidnapping. Almost transparent-looking figure walking across the house owner's property in the middle of the night. The figure looks to have no face, and seems to slowly become less visible as it continues to move. The audio from the video reveals the noise of very faint footsteps.
Αυτό απλά είναι κάποιος άνθρωπος που περνάει, απλά η κάμερα είναι τόσο χάλια που δεν καταγράφει τίποτα. Maist δεν στην πόρτα σου φαίνεται στο stream, την πόρτα μου.
Around the property, the house owner found nothing out of the ordinary, and it's still unclear what exactly was caught on video that night.
Αυτό πιστεύω απλά η κάμερα είναι χάλια.
The owner of this house would wake up to a notification on his phone telling him motion was detected at his front door. And after reviewing the footage, this is what he found. There was an old woman with a knife just standing at his front door, constantly shifting her body weight from side to side. The woman can be seen awkwardly holding and looking at the knife, as well as constantly glancing all around her.
Πω, ρε, γιατί είναι όλοι έτσι. Γιατί υπάρχουν τόσοι τρελοί στην Αμερική, γενικά παντού είναι, όχι μόνο στην Αμερική. Παντού υπάρχουν έτσι πολλοί τρελοί. Και εκεί κάτι τους βάζουν στο νερό σίγουρα, κάτι δεν πάει καλά, αλλά γενικά παντού. Μήπως έχει πάρει τίποτα αυτή. Αυτή σίγουρα το έχει σκάσει από το τρελάδικο. Ναι! Μοιάζει σαν να το έχει σκάσει. Και στην Ελλάδα έχουμε πολλούς τρελούς και συνήθως οδηγάνε. Καλά, αυτό πόσο αλήθεια είναι.
After 2 minutes of footage, it cuts off. It's still unclear who this woman was, or what caused her to walk up to a stranger's front door wielding a knife. Likely taking place during the whole killer clown craze of 2016, this Ring doorbell caught the exact moment someone dressed in a clown costume walked up to its front door. The person can be seen tilting their head and slowly walking up to the door, almost the whole time staring directly into the camera. While it's most likely just someone trying to scare people, there's a small chance something a lot more sinister is going on here.
Εν τω μεταξύ, games δεν θα έπαιζες, πώς κατέληξε η φάση εδώ. Κάθριν είδες δεν έπαιζε, το Limbo δεν μπορούσα να το κάνω capture με τίποτα και μετά να σου πούνε δεν ξενέρωσα, δεν ήθελα να παίξω. Ήθελα να δώσω και βίντεο. Πώς είναι έτσι αυτός, απλώς ανοίγει την πόρτα και κλεισοπουλιές. Όχι, δεν ανοίγεις. Πάλι, δεν ανοίξεις αυτό το τρελό.
This house owner would wake up one morning to
Δεν
find
είναι
his cell
παιδάκια, είναι
phone
βίντεο
completely missing.
από
The house
σπίτια.
owner lives alone, and this would be enough to make him check his home security cameras. And disturbingly, this would reveal what had actually happened. Rather than showing the house owner simply misplace his phone, the cameras had clearly caught some unknown man walking around inside the house. It turns out the man let himself in through an unlocked back door, and only minutes later can be seen crawling around the bedroom of the house owner.
Τι λες,
The whole time
τι
was asleep
κοιμάτος!
and completely unaware of what was taking place just a few
Τι
feet
έχει στο
away from
στόμα
him.
του.
The man can be seen stealing the house owner's phone, which would end up being the only thing stolen. But most disturbing is the fact that the man can be seen holding a knife in his mouth. Proves this man came prepared for confrontation. Had the house owner woken up during the break-in, things definitely could have ended a lot worse than just a stolen cell phone.
Ρε, τι λες. Τι λες. Αυτό ήταν το χειρότερο βίντεο που είδαμε μέχρι τώρα.
Footage was captured in the middle of the night. And it shows a man dressed in a Michael Myers costume walk into frame and eventually run up to the house's front door.
Μαχαίρι στο στόμα έχει, Ελένη. Του λες και εντάξει, δεν είναι και τίποτα, Ελένη. Μαχαίρι στο στόμα έχει.
The man can be seen holding what looks like a knife and wastes no time in trying to open the door. After realizing it's locked, the man simply walks off, but only to return 2 more times to again try and open the door.
Τι λες, ρε, τι είναι αυτά.
On the third try, the man can even be seen attempting to use his knife to assist him in getting the door open. But luckily, after being unsuccessful, the house owners would never see this supposed home intruder again.
Τι ψυχολογικά σου δημιουργεί μετά αυτό.
On an early morning in July of 2016, a woman living in Chicago would discover that her purse had gone missing. Both the woman and her boyfriend would attempt to retrace their steps in the hopes of locating where it had been left. And this would ultimately lead them to go back and check the footage of their home security camera. But horrifyingly, when they would rewind the footage to 3:30 a.m., it would reveal a hooded figure walking around the upstairs of their house.
Όχι. Τι λες. Φανταστείτε το λίγο αυτό, να βλέπετε δεν υπάρχει.
Only a few hours prior, the couple had mistakenly fallen asleep on the couch watching TV.
Είναι εδώ στο καναπέ οι άλλοι, ναι!
And this would allow for the intruder to get inside the house completely undetected. The intruder would stand at the top of the stairs for around 10 full minutes, seemingly contemplating whether to go down the stairs or not. But finally, he would leave with nothing but the woman's purse. Some other nearby residents had reported to have seen the same guy around the neighborhood and had even caught him on camera again lurking around. But the guy still hasn't been caught.
Όντως νίντζα, δεν τον πιάσανε. Τον έχουν πιάσει σε τόσα βίντεο και ακόμα δεν τον έπιασε η αστυνομία. Όντως νίντζα.
This couple was on vacation in Zimbabwe. The house they were staying at had a pool. And so on the night of October 27th, 2016, they can be seen by one of the home's security cameras going for a late night swim. And that's when practically out of nowhere, a crocodile can be seen walking up to and eventually leaping into the pool.
Κροκόδιλος.
This would obviously cause the couple to desperately attempt to get out of the water. Luckily, both of them would survive, with the woman only receiving minimal cuts on her shoulder and elbow. And the crocodile would later be relocated back into the wild where no human contact was possible.
Η κλόν ήταν μια περίοδο, είχε γίνει χαμός κάπτεν στην Αμερική, δινόντουσαν πάρα πολύ. Οι κλόν κάνανε φάρσιση, κλέβανε ή έχουν κάνει και απαγωγές ανθρώπων. Τώρα δεν το κάνουν. Ήταν της μόδας κάποτε.
The woman would respond saying she lived just right here, but would later go on to regret telling the man this, as just the next day, the same car can be seen lingering around just outside her home.
Ρε.
Over the course of the next few days, the car can continually be seen driving by watching the house.
Το πάρκαρε ο άλλος, δεν τον νοιάζει. Θράσος. Προσέξτε ποιον μιλάτε, γι' αυτό να μην μιλάτε σε κανέναν. Θράσος ο άλλος, ρε, εντάξει, έκανε όπιστερ. Τώρα αυτός είναι ψυχάκιας, του κόλλησε, αυτή λέει αυτήν θέλω να σφάξω, τελείωσε. Του κόλλησε. Σε τελικές περιοχές που είναι ερημιές δεν γίνει να έχεις όπλο. Ναι, αλλά στην Αμερική, εάν τώρα αυτός ο τρελός πάει να μπει στο σπίτι της και αυτό με πυροβολήσει.
and this time tells her he could use some help
Όλα
around his
καλά.
house.
Αν γίνει αυτό στην Ελλάδα και τον πυροβολήσει τον πίσω σπίτι σου, πας εσύ φυλακή.
This wouldn't stop him. Later, the same man can be seen, this time in a different car, leaving a note in the house's mailbox. The note again stated that he could use some help around the house, but this time he wrote down his phone number. The woman obviously wouldn't call the number, but instead called the police to report the situation. One comment suggested that the man was most likely just waiting for the right moment to snatch the woman.
Ναι. Και τι έγινε τελικά, τι έκανε η αστυνομία?
Δεν μάθαμε ποτέ. The house owner's 3 daughters playing on their backyard trampoline. But after only a few seconds of this, a man in a white van can be seen pulling up next to them. The man would then attempt to lure the children inside his van by offering them donuts. The oldest of the 3 girls, obviously understanding the danger of the situation, would quickly grab her sisters, getting them inside.
Μπράβο, έξυπνο κορίτσι.
And the man would drive off shortly after.
Να πάρει τις πινακίδες του.
In January of 2018, a woman named Noelle Bracey would claim to have been hearing various sounds outside of her bedroom window. Disturbed by this, she would set up a live camera outside in an attempt to catch whoever or whatever it was. And that's when she caught a man she'd never seen before walk up to her bedroom window and try to look inside. After a few seconds, the man would notice the camera and quickly walk away. But shortly after, he would return and steal the camera. Noelle believes this man that she caught on camera had been looking into her bedroom window for at least 3 weeks.
Την έβλεπε να κοιμάται.
This footage shows an intruder walking around a house looking for various valuables. The guy had only broken into the house seconds earlier by smashing a window. And while this was going on, the house owner's kid and their babysitter were out running errands. But when they returned, unknown to them, the intruder was on the top floor of the house. The kid can be seen walking around the kitchen, but when the babysitter heard footsteps upstairs, she can be seen frantically grabbing the kid and running outside to the neighbor's house. Shortly after, followed by the intruder running away. And the intruder himself was never caught. In June of 2020, a man named Christopher Town would make a life-threatening discovery while helping his friend move furniture in his basement. Unknown to both of them at the time was the fact that the house itself was built over a well. And so at one point, when Christopher was making his way across the room, the floorboards just underneath him would snap, which caused him to fall the 25-foot drop to the bottom. Fortunately, there was water at the bottom to break his fall, though this meant Christopher would have to use the rocks on the wall to hold his head above the water while he waited for the local fire department to arrive. And to make things worse, the water itself was at an extremely low temperature.
Με νερό, πώς λέγεται,
After
πάνω
only
από
a few
πηγάδι.
minutes, the fire department was able to
Όχι δίπλα από
successfully
το
get
πηγάδι,
Christopher
πάνω
out
από το
using a
πηγάδι
hauling
χτίσανε
system.
σπίτι.
And other than almost getting hypothermia, Christopher would make it out.
Αμερική. Αγόρια, κορίτσια, καλό σας βράδυ, να περνάτε καλά. Bye bye bye.
Mike Carroll
Bye
was
bye
a man who
bye.
lived in a small house in Lake Grove, New York, which was the same house he had grown up in. Mike was 57 at the time, and only a few months prior had purchased the house.
Παλιά υπήρχαν τα πηγάδια, ήταν λογικό. Λογικό δεν είναι να χτίσεις το σπίτι πάνω από το πηγάδι όμως. Δίπλα από το πηγάδι, τα αφήνεις το πηγάδι στην αυλή και χτίσεις το σπίτι.
Is the fact that the bones matched the DNA of his father. When Mike was only 8 months old, his father was said to have gone missing, and throughout his childhood, he would question his mother about this. But each time he was given a different story. So, of course, this made Mike want to find out for himself what had really happened to his father, which is what gave him motivation to buy his childhood house in the first place. The newly found bones would obviously cause blame for the disappearance to be shifted onto his mother, though she had unfortunately passed away 20 years prior. So, there's no way of confirming if she was responsible or not, and therefore what really happened will forever be unknown.
Θα τον σκότωσε η γυναίκα του.
In January of 2016, an appliance repairman was responding to a call from house owner Charles Price. Though, while the repairman was working in the basement, he would claim to have noticed something moving in a covered container in a back corner. Curious, the repairman would lift off the cover and be met by a 200-pound alligator. But before running, the repairman would capture multiple pictures for proof to show the police. It turns out the house owner had the alligator for more than 20 years, and was supposedly using it to help him with the house's mouse infestation. He would illegally keep the creature in a cage in his basement and claimed to occasionally take him out into his backyard. Shortly after the repairman made the report, the alligator was confiscated by local animal control and later released into a better environment.
Ο άλλος είχε τόσα χρόνια τον αλιγάτορα σπίτι του.
This discovery was posted to Reddit by an account under the name Daily Dish. In the post, the Redditor explains how a few years ago they shared a house with some friends, and in the first few months of living in the house, they hadn't spent much time in the basement. The basement was half finished, with the other half being a sort of dirt crawl space that extended under the porch of the house. They went on to explain how one night they decided to explore it more thoroughly, and after grabbing a flashlight, they discovered a black canvas duffel bag in the very back of the dirt crawl space. Disturbingly, in the duffel bag were 2 black ski masks, a hunting knife, and a single black leather glove. The Redditor went on to explain how they decided to call the non-emergency police number and report the discovery, though the police weren't interested, and therefore the house owners decided to set fire to everything but the hunting knife. Whether that bag had any relation to any sort of criminal activity is still unknown to this day. This next discovery comes from a guy who moved into a studio apartment in England. The guy claimed to have moved into the apartment without even viewing the place, and on arrival he would discover something pretty disturbing.
So here's the apartment I moved into last week. It's pretty small, pretty nice. Rent was pretty cheap, so I moved in without even viewing the place. And then when I got here I realized why the rent was so cheap.
The guy then goes on to give a
tour
of the
apartment, and after a while,
a sort of trap door on the floor can be seen.
Got a bathroom, pretty standard. And then we look down here.
Αυτό το έχουμε δει σε πάρα πολλά χώρα. Μην πας κάτω. Βασικά πήγαινε, γιατί πρέπει να ξέρεις τι έχει. Βασικά μετακόμισε, φύγε από το σπίτι.
So let's lift this up.
Α, είναι απλά αποθήκη.
Goes down pretty deep.
Α, όχι, έχει
Featured
σκάλες
directly under this guy's apartment is some sort of dungeon-looking basement.
Πολύ basement το basement.
Come down. We can see a corridor going off straight to the front. Some interesting graffiti on the wall. Down here, this place is strange. There's like a brick seat or bed.
Compared to the rest of the apartment, the area itself is pretty big, featuring many large rooms and corridors. What exactly this area was used for is unclear.
Καλά, και οι άλλοι νοικιάσανε το σπίτι και έχει ένα τόσο creepy basement από κάτω.
A homeowner in Jefferson County,
Wisconsin, λέει τι θα χάσω εγώ το νοικείο. Δεν πειράζει.
And so in November, she would apply for a loan to repair the foundation. But around 2 weeks later, while away at work, she would get a call from the workers hired to do the repair, explaining how they came across a gruesome discovery. They explained that as they started to remove the soil from the foundation wall in our basement, they had unearthed the full skeletal remains of a body. The skeleton was determined to be that of a 50-year-old male. Most disturbingly, though, is the fact that after further inspection, it was determined that the house had been built right on top of an ancient burial ground that's estimated to be up to 170 years old. Experts believe that in all likelihood, hundreds more skeletons are within a close proximity to the one found.
Αυτό γίνεται και στα αλήθεια, γιατί νομίζω γίνεται μόνο σε έργα και σε games ότι χτίζουν σπίτι πάνω από νεκροταφείο.
In January of 2010, Wally and
Επίσης,
Linda
τα σπίτια τους εκεί
moved
δεν
into
έχουν
their new
θεμέλια.
home in Goshen, Indiana. Though only a week after moving in, the couple would discover a live torpedo in their basement, something they obviously weren't aware of beforehand. Both of them noted how old the thing looked, but still obviously active. There had been no drill holes to indicate it had been disarmed. The couple would end up calling the police, who would send out a bomb squad to extract the torpedo from the property's basement. Luckily, they were able to remove it without incident. But considering the squad did confirm the explosive was still active upon arrival, the whole situation just makes you think how much worse things could have really gone. The dashcam footage itself features 2 guys driving through a windy residential area late at night. Everything seems to be going completely normal. when, as they start to make a turn, what looks like a person wearing all white can be seen sitting cross-legged directly in the middle of the road.
Number 6 also, I can see lights. Oh no, that's the street lights.
Okay, that's a bit scary.
Yeah.
That's a bit scary.
That is very scary.
Πανικοβληθήκανε όντως. Αυτό δεν μου φαίνεται στημένο.
Alright, my traction control just came on.
Yeah, that's no good.
Obviously terrified, the guys would immediately stop and back up their car to take a different route. The video offers no further explanation of what happened next, so it's unclear why whoever or whatever this was
Μπορεί να τους κάνει να σταματήσουν και να βγουν από το αυτοκίνητο και θα ερχόντουσαν άλλοι να τους κλέψουν.
On the day of October 15, 2018, police would be flooded with calls from drivers on the highway. The calls reported a Subaru Forester with foreign plates towing a caravan in the furthest lane, carelessly going full speed down the opposite way of the highway. The driver of the vehicle was able to do this for a full 7 minutes before getting into an accident. And while this was taking place, multiple dash cams were able to capture the horrifying experience, showing drivers as they desperately tried to get out of the way.
Καλά θα τους κλέβανε μόνος, όντως. Δεν ξέρεις τι θα τους κάνανε. Έχεις δίκιο. Ο άλλος κιόλας δεν σταματάει, πάει. Γρήγορα, δεν σταματάει. Νομίζω και εδώ στην Ελλάδα το έχει κάνει κάποιος.
The eventual accident ended up causing a massive pileup of vehicles that would actually temporarily shut down the highway completely. In this video, this man who was on his way home late at night claims to see a person on the side of the road. But again, it's late at night and on a desolate street with no lights. So, with his camera, the driver starts filming while slowly getting closer.
In my car, in reverse, there was somebody walking in that distance. It looks really, really sketchy. It's like right under that sign over there. Let me try to zoom it in for you guys. See if you guys can see anything.
Δεν μιλούσα τόση ώρα, γιατί ό,τι βιβλιοθήκες, ντουλάπες βρήκα, έσπασα τα ξύλα, έκλεισα τα παράθυρα, δεν μπαίνει τίποτα. Αντί με έτσι, μπράβο, οργανώθηκες. Έτσι. Καλησπέρα από την φιλοζωική είμαστε. Τι είχε ζώα εδώ, δεν είχε κάποιο ζώο. Α, είστε η φιλοζωική, σας. Φιλοζωική.
He's standing like under the sign.
Τι κάνετε, πώς είστε?
I don't know if you guys can see that. He's legit like standing under that sign right there. Just like right there on the side of the road.
That's when the driver claims to see the person. And after turning on his high beams, a man on the side of the road wearing a black shirt and dark jeans is revealed. He also seems to be wearing some sort of mask. The guy's body language is extremely odd. But disturbingly, when the driver gets close enough, the man aggressively jumps at the car, grabbing the handle in an attempt to open the door.
Do you see that right there? Do you see that? Who the? But they got like some weird mask or something on. What the is that? What the? Oh, what the? Oh, what the?
Who this guy is, or why he's alone on the side of a desolate road in the middle of the night is unknown.
Γιατί σταματάσατε
can only imagine what he intended to do if he were able to get the car door open.
Όντως, γιατί σταμάτησε. Δεν θα σταμάταγε σε αυτή την περίπτωση, γιατί σταμάτησε.
This dashcam footage was taken from a police cruiser during California wildfires back in October of 2017. The clip's only 11 seconds, but shows the cruiser desperately attempting to exit a neighborhood that was overrun by the wildfires.
I dispatched someone from the fire department and tried to dispatch by accident. He said he is unaware of which way the fire is going. They have so many fires, they can't really keep track at this point, and they also cannot answer the fire.
On the sides of the road, through the smoke, trees and even whole houses are seen actively burning. Throughout the duration of the video, fire from the trees above can be seen raining down on the car, making the scene all the more disturbing.